I'm at 1109 North 11th Street in Miamisburg, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. You can see the clean out that I'm going through here. This is a Y. This is the floor. You can see it going out through the back wall. I expect this to be a converted septic, so it originally would have went out and tied into a septic tank, and now it goes out and wraps around the house and goes out to the street for to tie into the sewer main. Now, what we're looking for is, any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer, bellies, which are like low spots, stuff like that. So this is cast iron above ground here. You can see we're going into this sweep, and it looks awfully dry. So it should be cast iron until it leaves the house, and I expect this to switch over to clay. So as soon as we go past the foundation, you can see it switches over to vitrified clay. This is normal, like I mentioned, for this age. And this is usually fairly normal too, to find some root intrusion on these old clay pipes. In most cases, these lines are, the pipe sections are only 3-4 feet long, and so there's just a lot of connections. And over the years, on pipes that are nearing 100 years old or more, they will have roots getting in at the joints where the packing breaks down and shrinks up, and then the roots have a little bit of room. They get in, and there's nothing more that they love than food and water all in one place. And so there's definitely some root intrusion. Right now it's pretty minimal. I don't know if it's been recently cleaned. This does kind of look like maybe it's been cleaned recently. But either way, you would have to do regular maintenance on this. I haven't seen anything major structurally, but this would require regular maintenance. Now you could either run a snake through it, or like a cutter head on that would cut the roots out of the line. Or you could, in between that, you could do some. You could also do some chemical treatment, which is something you put a chemical down it, and that would allow for, and that would foam up and burn back the roots. That would be something that would be done every 6 months to a year, maybe, just to try to do some preventative maintenance on the line. So you don't have to do regular cleanings. So far you can see from hitting the roots, I've got some stuff on the front of the camera, so hopefully we get all the way out to the main, and I can rinse the camera off, and we'll be able to see a lot better on the way back. But right now, looks like at that turn there was a lot of root intrusion. Of course, there's some woods behind us, and so I imagine that's where all that came from. There we go. It looks like we have some buildup here in the middle of the pipe here. We're going to try to see if we can get this moving. I don't know how long the house has been empty, but we do have some pretty heavy buildup here, and I don't know if this is from roots stopping things, or if this is just, this is really heavy. I am not going to be able to make it through this, I don't think. It feels like I'm hitting something pretty hard, and I can't see anything. This stuff on the front of the camera. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to pull back and find that water and see if I can rinse off. see if we can see what's going on up there, but it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. What I will do is, because this looks like this is probably roots based off of the evidence from earlier on and placement we are. This is probably roots, and it does kind of look like that of the flash. Looks like roots, and it has caught a bunch of material and caused a backup, and that's the problem with roots, is that they will obviously clog up the pipe and stop them from being able to move. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get past this point at 65 feet, so I'm going to go out, locate the line, and mark exactly where this is. It's showing me about 65 feet from this clean out. Usually the footage is done by the rotation of the drum, and so it's not the most accurate thing. The locate will tell you exactly outside where this is. And I'm going to recommend at least a cleaning and a reinspection, because we were unable to get all the way out to the street. But I will mark this first, and I will come back, and I may try to push through it a couple more times. Maybe I'll take the standoff off of the end of the camera and see if I can go back through with just the camera. Sometimes it'll poke through smaller holes in roots, and maybe we can get a little further. But first things first, I'm going to pause the video and locate exactly where this blockage is. Okay, this is marked on the in the side yard. This does wrap around the house, and it's right around, it's coming right through the opening in the double gate on the left side of the house if you're facing it, if you're facing the house. It looks like it's coming right through that double gate there. Can see some movement going by. I don't know if maybe I kind of poked a hole in it. Looks like I kind of poked a little bit of a hole in it, but looks like a lot of root intrusion there. It's blocking the entire line. But there is some movement. And so what we're hoping for, even though we can't see at that point, that was 65 feet. What we're hoping for here is that I can pull back, and then we can, let's see if I can rinse a little bit of this off here. But what we're hoping for is to be able to see on the way back. But what we're going to do is try to take this standoff off the camera, and then what we'll do is try to push back through it without the standoff. I'm going to run a little bit of water through the sink upstairs for a minute and see if we can rinse off the camera so I can inspect better on the way back. Okay, we have run some water. Let it get out there, and then see if we can rinse off that camera lens a little bit. Junk out, let the water run a little bit, we can see better. There we go. You can see, I mean, structurally the line where I can see up until that point, most of it looks pretty good. It looks like I'm pulling some roots back that I got out of that spot that's attached to my little standoff there. Yep, taking that stuff back up and so wow, yeah, so I got a big old root ball out of there. And so it's probably flowing a lot better now because I pulled a huge root ball out of there. And that will most likely just flow down further and
plug back up that hole we were just at, but we want to get a look at all this. And then we'll see if I can get my bear camera to go through. Because like I said, structurally, the line looks pretty good. It just has some root intrusion at the joints. Usually that doesn't indicate, major issues, but it will have. I mean, you can see that's most of the diameter of the pipe there. And those are the ones where there's a right there at that turn that cause some problems, because when they turn like that, sometimes the knife isn't able to get all that. But there's a pretty large access point here, and goes straight out, so they should be able to get in here with a double knife and do a pretty good job of getting these roots out. But I'm going to recommend that they do a cleaning and then go back and do an inspection afterwards to try to verify that. Well, I mean, first of all, you want to try to finish the inspection, get all the way out to the main, and also look at the spots that have the major root intrusion, where it's blocking enough of the vision where you can't see, what's behind those roots, because it may end up being that those, when they've gotten that big, sometimes they can actually break the pipe if they're large enough diameter roots. So you can tell I'm going back through again. So hopefully we'll get back up to that 65-foot mark. We'll be able to punch this thing right on through those roots, and hopefully after that we can at least inspect the whole line. There is obviously a lot of roots in this, but there's also a lot of trees out there. I believe this is that spot where I grabbed that and I left that root ball. And now I'm kind of pushing it along. Yeah, back a pretty large root ball. So we're coming back up on that 65-foot mark. You can see it flowing. Pushing those roots right back down to the water. I think I was just able to push right on through that bad spot. That's good. I am past it, but I can't see. So. Somehow I keep moving forward. There's a lot of roots in this line, and we can't see what's going on. I keep punching through stuff. This may be about it. So I'm going to go turn the water off. I'm going to also mark this spot, so I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to mark this secondary spot just to show that the area in between this is just completely ate up with roots. And I'm going to recommend a cleaning again and a re-inspection to make sure that all this stuff that we can't see the roots haven't completely catastrophically damaged the pipe. So I'm going to pause the video and go take a look. Okay, so you can see there 82.5, so I was able to get past 65, almost another 20 feet. But this is obviously got a lot of roots in it at the minimum. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull back. Hopefully, I was hoping that once I stopped pushing or stopped the water flow. It may be drained down a little bit to be able to see, but this is just so full of junk here that I can't really see, and it's pretty hard to pull my camera back. I imagine there's a lot of roots, and we also don't know yet what kind of condition the pipe is in this area, and so we have a lot of roots. Let's see, now we're back there. This is a major spot that I poked through, and it drained down a little bit, but just went to the next section where the roots were. See, I think maybe the footage jumped a little bit, and it sometimes happens. That's what I was saying about the rotation of the drum. Sometimes that can happen. We were at 82 feet. And up to that point, the line was okay structurally, but we still had some roots. And then we have, let's see, 35. And so we were unable to inspect the pipe past about 65 feet, and then unable to get the camera past about 82 feet. The heavy roots are from basically 35 feet out to the 82 mark, mainly starting at 65 feet, and we are back out of the clean out. So, to sum this all up, basically we were able to push out 82 feet. We were able to inspect roughly 62 to 65 feet of this, and there was some major root intrusion at about 35 feet, and then obviously at 65 feet, which I was able to push through without the standoff on the camera, but everything beyond 65 feet was unable to be inspected, and the camera was unable to proceed past about 82 feet. So I'm going to recommend a heavy cleaning. Hopefully they can get like a 6-inch double knife in here and cut all these roots out. It's going to be a pretty major undertaking, it looks like. And then from there have a reinspection done, just to inspect the line structurally with all the root intrusion to make sure that they haven't caused any major damage. But it may need need some pipe replacement with that heavy of root intrusion. So again, just recommend a cleaning and a reinspection to check for any structural issues, and then we should be able to inspect the whole line out to the main. And if something to note also is that if you get somebody to clean the line that can also inspect it, I mean, obviously they can run a camera. A lot of places have cameras they can run through after an inspection. You just want to make sure that they can make it all the way out to the main, and they're able to inspect the line. But yeah, a thorough cleaning and a reinspection to verify for structural integrity before taking occupancy would be my recommendation. So that'll end the inspection at 1109 North 11th Street.